Welcome back to the One Shoe podcast. There's something about being in your early 20s that feels like standing at a crossroad. Society lays out a blueprint: school, career, money, relationships, success. But as we take our first real steps into that, we start noticing the cracks in that structure. Some people seem to be getting ahead, others feel lost, and no one really talks about the weight of it all. But before we get too deep into emotions, there's an important question we need to ask ourselves: what will actually matter? Not just today, not just this year, but when we look back decades from now. Because the truth is, life will pass, whether we actively shape it or just go with the flow. The real challenge is whether we'll have lived a life that was truly ours or just one that was expected of us. And this episode is about looking ahead with intention. It's about pausing now before the years slip by to decide what kind of life we actually want to build and what we can start doing today to align with that vision. Growing up given this idea that life follows a structured, almost linear path: study hard, get a degree, secure a job, make money, start a family. Things should unfold neatly, but then reality hits. You graduate and the job market is different from what you expected. You start working and stability doesn't always mean fulfillment. You make money, but financial security doesn't automatically bring happiness. You see people in relationships, but life isn't always as simple as finding someone and settling down. The reality is, life doesn't unfold in a straight line. And if we don't take time to define what success truly means to us, we can spend years climbing a ladder only to realize that it was leaning against the wrong wall. So the real question isn't just what's next, it's what's next for me. Because if we don't stop to think about it, we risk following a path that was never really ours to begin with. Let's be honest. So much of what we chase in our 20s is fueled by comparison. We see people making moves and we feel like we should be moving too. But the thing about success is that it's deeply personal. For some, it's climbing the corporate ladder. For others, it's having the freedom to work on their own terms. Some measure it in money, others in impact, and others in experience. The problem is, society tends to push one definition of success, one that prioritizes external achievements over personal fulfillment. But if we don't stop and ask ourselves what really matters to us, we risk chasing something that at the end of the day leaves us empty. So here's a challenge. Take a moment and ask yourself, if money and expectations didn't exist, what kind of life would I actually want? Not what looks good, not what impresses people, but what actually feels right. Because the sooner we start defining success for ourselves, the sooner we can start building a life that's actually fulfilling, not just one that looks good on the surface. One thing we don't realize early enough is that life is full of trade-offs. The time we spend chasing money is time we don't get back. The relationships we neglect in pursuit of status don't always wait for us. The years we spend proving ourselves to others could have been spent building something meaningful. And yet we are conditioned to believe that the only way to get ahead is to keep pushing, keep hustling, keep grinding. While ambition is important, we have to ask ourselves, at what cost? Because at the end of the day, true wealth isn't just money, it's autonomy. It's the ability to wake up and have a say in how you spend your time. So as we navigate our 20s, maybe the goal shouldn't just be financial success. Maybe it should be financial independence, the kind that allows us to build a life on our own terms. And what that actually means is learning to manage money early, not just chasing high salaries, finding ways to create value beyond traditional employment, understanding that freedom is built in small decisions: how we use our time, how we spend our money, how we prioritize what truly matters. Because when you look back years from now, what will matter isn't just how much we earned, but whether we truly lived. Another thing too is that we start to realize in our 20s, not everyone stays. Some friendships will fade, not because of conflict, but because growth leads us in different directions. Some relationships will end, even if they once felt unbreakable. Some people will only be around when it's convenient for them. It's easy to feel like we need to hold on to everyone, but the reality is life is about seasons, and not everyone is meant to stay for all of them. So instead of chasing more connections, maybe we should focus on deepening the ones that truly matter. And this could be in the spaces of probably in the examples of the friends who show up even when there is nothing to gain. The people who challenge us to grow, not just those who make us comfortable. The relationship built on understanding, not just obligation. Because at the end of it all, the people who walk with us through life, oh my dear Lord. I think because at the end of it all, the people who walk with us through life's ups and downs will be the ones who surely count. If there's one thing to take away from this, it's that life doesn't just happen to us. We have a say in how it unfolds. Yes, there are subtle expectations. Yes, there are pressures. But within all of that, we still have the power to choose, to define what success means for us, to be intentional about how we invest our time and energy, to build the life that aligns with our values, not just what looks good from the outside. So here's the real question. What can what kind of life do you want to look back on? One that felt true to you, or one that checked off the right boxes but left you feeling empty? The best time to start thinking about this is now. Because the earlier you start making intentional choices, the more aligned the future will be with what actually matters. And when we're nearing the closing segments, it's important to note that your 20s are not just about figuring things out. They're about laying the foundation for the life you want to build. And that starts with asking yourself the right questions now before time makes the choices for you. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. What's one thing you've started seeing differently as you navigate adulthood? What's something you once thought mattered but now realize it isn't as important as you believed? Let's continue the conversation because figuring out life isn't something we have to do alone. This has been the One Ship podcast. Until next time, stay intentional, stay thoughtful, and most importantly, stay true to yourself. And if you miss a few words, you could write a whole book again. Ciao.